All right, what is going on, guys? Happy Sunday, NFL Sunday, but we've got two baseball games, so we're going to cover those. Results of yesterday, we sucked ass. It was disgusting. So, not happy with how that panned out. Tigers' first five over 1.5, they just sucked. Couldn't get it done with runners in scoring position. Terrible start. 5 runs in the first inning. Capped off by a nice little error, a lot of seeing eye hits. It is what it is. Cleveland came out firing. We thought they'd be a little rusty. They weren't, but the Phillies were, so that kind of screwed us there. Phillies minus 1.5. They were up 1-0. Wheeler threw an absolute gem, and then the bullpen came in and absolutely blew it. Hoffman got shelled. Yeah, it was just bad. Then they brought in Strom. He got hit. So it is what it is. The Mets were basically, I think, 1-2 hits through 7 innings, and then they just exploded in the 8th. So is it the Miracle Mets year? Maybe. This team is continuing to do some crazy shit. Kansas City and New York under 8. All of a sudden, Kansas City decided to start scoring a bunch of runs. Ended up being 5-4. The only one we did hit was the Padres and Dodgers over 7.5. That was sweat-free. That was over in the 3rd inning. So it is what it is there. 0 for 3 on the parlays. Like I said, just an absolute shit day. It's just the first game of the series. We had the same thing in the wild card. We sucked in the first one, and then we absolutely crushed the next 2. So hopefully that's the same case. In terms of props, we had Bybee over 3.5. That was a hit. Cole over 4.5. Got the job done. Ohtani over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Mashed a 3-run homer and just did an absolute pimp bat slam. That was pretty boss. Kyle Schwarber over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That took like 2 pitches. He hit a solo home run in the first. Boom. So plus money play there. Ramirez over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That should have counted. He laced one down the third base line. Should have been a hit. They gave him an error. That would have cashed that prop. Walker and Cease over 14.5 outs. Cease needed one more out. Couldn't get it. And then Walker, they pulled him in the 4th inning. So finished, just absolute dismal day there. Not happy with how we went, but today is a new day. All right, so if this is going to be the MLB and the NFL, so if you just want NFL, go to the timestamps down below, and you can go to the NFL Best Bets. But we're going to talk a little baseball. First game on the card today, Mets and the Phillies 408. We already kind of went into depth about the recap yesterday. We've got Luis Severino going up against Christopher Sanchez. Sanchez, a guy that has been really, really good at home. 2.21 home ERA. Severino, he's faced this team 2 times this year. He went 12 innings in total, 8 hits, 6 earned runs. Both of those starts were within the past month, right? So both of these pitchers have faced the other team 2 times already this month. So there's a lot of familiarity here. I just think that we're going to see some runs out of this. That said, Sanchez, 9 games versus the Mets since 2022, 3.62 ERA. But kind of as we would expect, better at home than he is away. We look at Sanchez in September. He's got 29.2 innings pitched, and he's given up 8 earned runs. So not too bad. Gave up 3 in his last start at home against the Cubs, which was on the 25th. So it's been a little bit since he started. Will we see a little rust? Potentially. At the Mets on the 20th, he gave up 2 runs. He faced the Mets previous start to that at home, gave up 1 run, none to the Rays, 2 to the Blue Jays. On the flip side, we look at Severino. He has pitched more recently. Pitched on the 1st at Milwaukee. Didn't do terrible. Didn't do great. 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned runs. So not too bad. Go back prior to that at Atlanta, gave up 4 runs, gave up 3 to the Phillies, gave up 3 to the Phillies again. Then he had 2 decent starts against the Reds and Boston, but that was over a month ago, so really can't drum up a ton off of that. To me, yesterday it just looked like the Phillies bats were cold, man. It looked like they had been off for an extended period of time. So that doesn't give me a ton of confidence. Now, the Mets against left-handed pitching haven't been the best. We have seen teams have success against the Mets throwing lefties. So I think Sanchez does okay. My issue is I don't trust this damn Phillies bullpen. Yesterday, I had hoped they would come out a little sharper, and they just simply didn't. So I am highly concerned about that. So I really don't want to pick a winner in this game. Do I trust the Phillies at minus 155? No. I think the value is on taking the Mets. Do I trust the Mets against Sanchez? No. So that leaves me in quite a conundrum. What I do trust is that the Phillies will have the lead after the first 5. So give me Phillies first 5 minus half a run. Park Index today is plus 3% runs, plus 14% home runs. So I do expect some runs to be scored in this game. We've got an over-under of 8. I wouldn't be shocked if we see a pretty high-scoring game. It's just, can the Mets get to Sanchez early? That'll really be what kind of determines this line. But, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, both guys giving up a pretty high batting average. Severino 241, Sanchez 256. Just doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. Severino giving up a 329 average to lefties, so guys like Harper, Schwarber might have really good days off of him, but only 180 to righties, so in the last 30 days. Flip side, we look at Sanchez, 333 to lefties. We're not going to see a ton of lefties. 204 to righties. So I would say Phillies had the pitching advantage. I would say the Mets have divine intervention on their side, so however you handicap that, there's that. I really don't want to trust a Nerfy in this spot. I think the Phillies come out and put up a run. If anything, I would lean more towards a Yerfy, but ultimately I'd lean towards the Phillies. But like I said, we talked about this yesterday. Only 2 of the last 8 games have been decided by 1 run. 5 of the last 14. So to me, if you're going to pick a side, the value's on taking 1.5, right? If you're on the Phillies, do minus 1.5 at plus 136. If you're on the Mets, hell, take them minus 1.5 at who knows what it is. It's probably pretty damn high. But there's just not a lot of one-run games. I think given the park factors today, we shouldn't see a one-run game today either. So, yeah, not going to tell you which side to take. I'd lean Phillies, but either way, I would do the run line, whichever side you're on in this contest. All right, next game, Padres and the Dodgers. Not a series I want to pick a winner, man. I love watching it. It's going to be a slugfest, but I don't know who's going to win this. I would say Dodgers, but man, two good teams and just damn good baseball. A lot of runs, a lot of home runs. Index is really good for runs today, so we got a 6-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. It's going to be a beautiful day, 84 degrees, so should be interesting. Yu Darvish going up against Jack Flaherty. Flaherty has not had a lot of success against this Padres team. The current roster is hitting 277 against him, 18 for 65 with 3 home runs. We look at Flaherty versus the Padres since 2023. He is 0-1 with an 11.25 ERA. So that is 1 game in 23, 1 game in 24. He's just looked very human. Flaherty's looked very human since he's joined the Dodgers. He's giving up runs. His last 3 games, he gave up 3 against the Padres on the 25th. 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs. On the 19th, against the Marlins in Miami, he gave up 3 runs. At Atlanta, he gave up 4 runs. So we're talking 10 earned runs in his last 3 games that he's given up. On the flip side, we look at Darvish. Last pitched on the 27th at Arizona. Gave up 3 earned runs. We look at Darvish against the White Sox prior to that, gave up 2. And then we see 0, 2, 3 to the Astros, the Mariners, and the Tigers. So he's been okay. But this Dodgers lineup doesn't have a good track record against him. They've got 239 ABs against Darvish. So there's a really good pool of ABs here, and this lineup's hitting 192 off of him. So there's been a lot of success on Darvish's side against the Dodgers. So it would kind of make you want to lean Dodgers. It's pretty scary that this line's minus 142, given the success that Darvish has had. So that makes me a little bit nervous. If we look at the opposing team's pitch splits for Darvish, the thing about Darvish is he throws 6 pitches. So he has that going for him. He's got a fastball, a cutter, kind of like a splitter sinker, a slider, a curveball, and a changeup. Changeup he throws like less than 1% of the time. It's like 0.6%. So maybe we'll say a 5-pitch pitcher, but 3 of those 5, the Dodgers are top 5 in baseball over the last 30 days. Conversely, you look at Flaherty, 47% of the time he throws the fastball. Padres are 5th over the last 30 days. 29% of the time he throws a slider. Padres are 8th. About 3% of the time he throws a changeup. Padres are 7th. So pitch splits don't look good for Flaherty either. This just, to me, equals runs again. So I would lean more towards the over. I think we're just going to see a slugfest of a series. We look at pitch splits. The only thing that concerns me about Flaherty, Over the last 30 days, giving up almost a 300 average to righties, 213 to lefties. Darvish 229 to lefties, 225 to righties. Hard hit percentage, not too bad. Darvish is sitting close to 40%, but still in the 30s. And Flaherty's at 35%. But to me, this is just an absolute grudge fest. Both teams want to kill each other. Best bet for me, I don't want to pick a winner. I just don't. If I had to lean towards the side, it'd be the Padres, just given their success against Flaherty and how he's been pitching lately. I just don't love how he's pitching. And Darvish has a good track record against these Dodgers players. Would lean Padres, but just give me Padres team total over 3.5. I think there are going to be runs scored today. I like the over 8.5. I just see an absolute slugfest happening here. All right, so pitching report. You guys can screenshot this. Maybe you can make some bets out of that. And park factors, like I said, it's good today. Home runs are popping. So if you are somebody that likes to play home runs, today's the day. Look at guys like Schwarber, Harper, Ohtani. I would say Machado, Tatis, those guys. Jackson Profer has a really good track record against Flaherty, so he might be a guy to take something on today. All right, rankings and best bets, and this is our MLB side. Then we're going to get to the NFL. Like I said, Phillies and Padres. If I had to lean, I don't really trust the Phillies bullpen, but what I do trust is the Sanchez-Severino matchup. I just think the Phillies get the Severino. So give me Phillies first 5 -0.5. I was almost on this play yesterday. It would have hit, so I'm pissed at myself for not doing that. Padres team total over 3.5. I think you could look at taking Dodgers team total over 4.5 as well, plus money. I just think there's a ton of runs scored. And give me Manny Machado to score an RBI today, or get an RBI. I guess you can't say score. Manny Machado to have an RBI. Let's go with that. At plus 145, and Shohei Ohtani to get an RBI at plus 100. So I like those two props today. And then the only parlay we're going to roll with today is both games. I want 7+ runs and Jack Flaherty to give up more than 4.5 hits. Pair those together, plus 223. Just want to go light. I don't like these games today. We've got more games tomorrow, so no reason to push it today. Props that I like, Jack Flaherty under 15.5 outs. I just don't see him getting to this line. Starling Marte over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He's the only player on this Mets lineup that has a pretty good track record against Sanchez. So I'll play the numbers at plus money, given that he is hitting quite well off of Sanchez. And then Kyle Schwarber, I'll go right back to the well, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 135. Just too good a value. Dude's hot. And then give me Tatis over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 135. So that is how I see it today. We're not going to do a Nerfy. If anything, I would do a Mets-Phillies Yerfy. Maybe a Padres-Dodgers. Like, you could look to Yerfy both teams. I could see both games having a Yerfy, but no way in hell I'm touching a Nerfy today. All right, let's get into our NFL best bets. If you're here for the NFL, first prop or bet that I like is Ravens minus 2.5. Going up against the Bengals today in the jungle. Bengals defense has been horrendous. I don't know if you've watched their games, but they are allowing every single team to run all over them, pass all over them. They have not been able to stop any team on the defensive side of the ball. You've got Derrick Henry. You've got Lamar. I mean, I just don't think they can stop them. I don't think the Bengals have any chance of winning this, even though it's at home. The Commanders came in and just smacked the shit out of them at home. So the Ravens are just the better team. And I'm a Bengals fan, diehard Bengals fan. I'm going to be watching this game and rooting for the Bengals. But where my heart's at, where my money's at are two different things. I think the Ravens smack them around. Minus 2.5 just seems really low at minus 108. Next game, the Bears are playing the Panthers. Give me the Bears minus 3. I don't trust the Red Rifle, Mr. Andy Dalton. He had a good game against who? The Bengals, right? I'm not going to go getting all excited because he played a pretty decent game against pretty shit defense. So give me the Bears minus 3. Caleb Williams has looked pretty good. So I've actually been pretty impressed with him. Question is, I want to see how DeAndre Swift does today. They should be able to run the ball. I think that should open up Williams in the passing game. So give me the Bears minus 3 at minus 131. And the next game, Texans and the Bills. This is a tight one. Texans are favored. I'm going to put my money with the Bills, man. I just love how they're playing. I understand that, They have a wide receiver out, but, Shakir's out. Coleman will just have to step up today. Cook has looked fantastic. Allen can use his legs. On the flip side, right, Texans are great. Nico Collins has been fantastic. I love his over 79.5 receiving yards. Should be a pretty high scoring game. If you don't want to take a team on this one, maybe look at taking the over. There should be lots of touchdowns. I haven't seen if Mixon's going to be back. I'm just assuming he's probably not back. I haven't really loved the way Cam Akers have been running the ball, so it does kind of make the Texans a little bit too much pass heavy for me. But I'll take the Bills in this spot. And then next game, Broncos -2.5 against the Raiders, who, like a quarter of their team is not playing today. I'm not really sure why we're seeing -2.5. Love the way the Broncos looked against Pittsburgh. I think Bo Nix is really kind of settling into that offense. We should see maybe a little bit more on the rushing game, right? I'm hoping Williams has a pretty good day rushing, but we'll have to see. I just don't trust the Raiders. Offensively, they're terrible. Gardner Minshew is an awful quarterback, and then you've got Aiden O'Connell behind him. He has nobody to throw to except Brock Bowers. They can't run the ball. Zamir White has just been ridiculously disappointing. There's no way I can trust Las Vegas here. Give me Broncos -2.5. And then the last game I like is going to be the Packers versus the Rams. Give me the Pack -3. You could play them straight up. It's like -160 if you want to be a little safer. This is probably my favorite play of the day. Just if you want to play money line, I would say Packers money line. Right? Rams are just depleted on the wide receiver front. Puka Nakua's out. You've got Cooper Kupp out. Right? Kyren Williams is about the only weapon that Matt Stafford has, and defensively they haven't been fantastic. So I think the Pack bounce back after a pretty crappy game. Just see a pretty easy win here. Prop leans I like Breece Hall, and this game starts in about 30 minutes. So by the time this video comes out, about 15. Breece Hall over 12.5 rushing attempts. I know he's been sharing some. Allen's been taking some of his rushing attempts, but he should go over this. He's averaging like 15, so I like him there. Dak Prescott over 34.5 passing attempts. He's been averaging 38.5 passing attempts his last 5 games. They're going to have to pass the ball today to win. Their rushing attack is just dreadful. And then give me Juwan Jennings over 39.5 receiving yards. He's just been able to step it up, and Cardinals are definitely susceptible to the deep ball. I think he has another really good game in the absence of all the wide receivers and McCaffrey. He's just been fantastic, so I'll take him over 39.5. We already talked about this. Nico Collins over 79.5. This is one I may look to ladder up to like 90 or 100 yards. He's just been outstanding. Him and Diggs, you can't guard both. They've been a very pass-heavy offense with Mixon out, so give me this one all day long. And then give me Kenneth Walker under 72.5 rush yards. We've definitely seen Zach Charbonnet kind of come in and take some more shares away from him. I just don't think they're going to have a lot of success rushing the ball today, so I will take the under 72.5. If anything, I would take Charbonnet's over before I would take Walker's. So that is how I see it today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't yet, make sure you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you tomorrow. I believe we have 55 days straight of football games, so pretty exciting time, especially from a betting perspective. I'll catch you in tomorrow's video.